when you were shooting the finale, what scene made you cried a lot in it? Claire cried a lot in it. But what
Yeah.
made you, Caitríona, cry the most real life tears? Which scene?
The scene with the scene with Claire and Jamie in bed, and then, talking about the bees holding each other's hands. That was our last ever scene. So I cried a mountain of tears after that, as soon as they yelled cut. Like and they just released a little clip of that today, and I was like crying again. Um, I mean, in the scene, I probably cried the most during the the Jamie lying on the altar bit.
What did you and Sam say to each other when you wrapped that final scene that you shot and you were crying? What did you say to each other? Do you remember?
I don't think anything that made sense. It was so overwhelming. There was so many people there, and we reacted so differently. Like Sam went inward and he got very quiet, and you could see how emotional he was, but he just, his way of dealing with it was to get very, very quiet. My way of dealing with it was to just like emote all over everybody. Um, I don't know what we said. I mean, I think other than like I love you and thank you, it's like that's probably what we said to each other.
Well, that's a beautiful thing to say.
Mm.
So what do you think Claire will do when she opens her eyes at the very end? What do you think she's going to do when she opens her eyes?
She does open her
She
eyes at
does
the
open her
end.
eyes. What is she going to do when she after she opens her eyes?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where they are. Did they open their eyes and they're in this world, or do they open their eyes and they're somewhere else? I don't know.
So you think there's a possibility that they are no longer with
I
us?
don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not, um, I, yeah, I don't know. It's sort of very ambiguous, and it could be. I mean, it's, yeah, it's a very sort of open to interpretation ending, I guess.
How long did it take to do that scene when he was on the altar, as you called it, on the top of the mountain? How long was that shoot, and how exhausting was it?
It was, I mean, I was crying for it. I think it was only, gosh, Kate, like this is the issue when it's like, almost 2 years ago when you filmed. I think, I could be wrong, but I think we just did the stuff in location was just a day, but then we went into the studio and they'd replicated that space. And so all the nighttime stuff we did in there, which I think was at least half a day, if not more. Obviously the stuff before and after, maybe it was 2 days on the mountain, because obviously you had all the stuff where everybody came and gathered, and then you would have when young Ian came, or when actually I don't even know if that stayed in it with the young Ian coming, but when you had Roger come as well. So maybe it was 2 days, but I think it was one. I don't know. My knees hurt. I remember that. It's
You
hard.
need
Sam Hewen is very heavy, and when you're trying to hold him on top of you, it's kind of taxing on the knees. Um,
Hey, Sam, can you maybe like lean on your own elbow a little
he's like,
bit?
"No, I'm dead. I'm dead." He was very funny. I think he got great pleasure out of just being a dead weight.
You guys never got to do that before.
No.
So, there was something that I wanted to ask you about too. When I talked to Sophie earlier, she talked about being really gutted over a deleted scene, which the
Hmm.
two of you did. I was wondering how you felt about that, and if you could talk a little bit about why that scene was so meaningful to you. She said it was really a great moment for the two of you as actors.
Yeah, it was beautiful. And Sophie did amazing work in that scene. So originally, what happens in episode 3 with the baby, then there was this other moment with Sophie, which would have been a heart condition. And it was sort of the Claire that is sort of coming into that Adawahi prophecy where she um, sort of comes into her powers. And then, I think Matt decided that, maybe perhaps, I don't know for sure, but maybe perhaps it was like too indicative, not indicative, it would be too kind of signposting for like the end. And they decided to remove that storyline. And then they decided to rewrite the season or the episode three stuff, and then they sort of removed that stuff from, I think it was episode four or five with Soph. And yeah, it's look at making a show is as heartbreaking as watching a show sometimes. There's always those moments where things get cut, storylines get changed. But like that's the job of a showrunner. It's like Matt has the vision that he wants to have for the season, and our job is to facilitate it. And sometimes as actors, that can be really frustrating, but that is always part of the job. And like you sometimes get seasons where your storylines are so dynamic and so challenging, and sometimes you don't. And that's just the way like TV shows are made.
Well, I feel like this finale was really satisfying to a lot of us who hadn't seen enough of Claire this season. We got to see a lot of Claire. Did you feel that way about the finale episode?
Yeah, it was so nice to be part of the storyline and part of the storytelling. It's not nice to sort of sit on the sidelines and not have a lot of stuff to do. I mean, it's frustrating as an actor. Um, but yeah, it felt, well, it felt great to be part of it. And I think it was a lovely way to finish out the season. And I've obviously been so much a part of the show since season one that yeah, it felt satisfying.
Well, at the beginning of the season, I asked you, you said to me actually, when it comes to Claire and Jamie's love life, they've been together for 20 years. There's nothing new left for them, right? But the lovemaking scene in this was really beautiful because you could see with both of them, they were kind of like knowing this could be the last time. And also kind of, it seemed like going through their whole love together, this journey they've been on. Can you talk about shooting that, or what was your take on that? And I
Yeah.
don't know what was the directive on the script page, if it said that or not.
I don't remember what was on the page. I know we spoke a lot with Vanessa, who was our incredible intimacy coordinator, and we talked a lot about this being, a moment of just tenderness. It had to be so tender. This was them just, it's an ultimate love making moment. It's not about pleasure, it's not about physicality, it is love. It has to be all love. And I think it was really important that it felt that way. And I think they did a great job with that scene. And it was very funny. I think afterwards, we didn't know this, but I'm not sure if it was Meryl or who, but like they had brought, I think was it, I might have even, I don't even think it was real champagne, but whatever. They brought like glasses with like fake champagne for us to celebrate our last ever love scene in the show, which was very sweet and very fun. Um, but yeah, I think, look, they've always communicated in some ways through their physicality. And I think a couple that loves each other in the way that they do, you want them, of course they would make love in this sort of very, you know, I don't know, like it's a tender, just in a way giving each other solace because they know that potentially what is about to come.
Yeah, I cried pretty much through the whole episode.
Mm.
I've asked you this every season, but do you remember when you were happiest on set shooting the final season? Is there a high? Is there a happy moment that you had?
Oh, wow. I mean, last season was for sure like episode two. I was just so happy that I was getting to direct and I was getting to work with my friends in this new way. And, I could give you several days, but like one highlight was, when I had all the women picking blueberries and just that day on set, it was gorgeous. And I loved just getting to work with all of those. But then another day with Richard and Sam, and that was so great. But then another day with just Sam and John Bell. I have loads of those moments. Like it was just, and I guess working with the crew in that different way. Like I felt I felt like I was buzzing the whole time, and it just felt really great.
Well, we love seeing you as an actor, but is directing, might that be your next love?
I mean, I would love to do more, and I hope that I get the opportunity to. I'm trying to, you know, figure out a time in my schedule where I can like maybe do some more shorts and stuff. But yeah,
Great.
I hope so. Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Would you write something? Would you write direct?
I would like to, yes. I mean, I you know, writing, as you are more than well aware, is a job that is takes a lot of dedication and a lot of discipline. And yes, if I can figure out those two things, then I would like to, yeah.
So because we didn't get you and Sam together, I'm wondering for my interview with Sam if there's a question you want to ask him.
I think what is his most proudest moment from the show? I think I would like to know what it is.
Do you have an answer for that for you?
I think in a weird way, it's about the entirety of it. I think I'm just really proud of the fact that we did 101 episodes, um, that Sam and I maintained this incredible friendship and working relationship through it, that the rest of the cast, that we all love each other dearly, and yeah, and that we did it.
I'm gonna cry. So what does Caitríona Balfe do to recover from crying quickly on set when she has to go to the next scene?
Oh, I don't know, go outside, get some fresh air, and then you just, yeah.
That's what I'm gonna
Thank
do.
you.
Thank you for all
Oh,
the
thanks,
years.
Kate.
Really
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. Okay.
All right, now you've got me going. Bye.
Hi, sweetie. So the final scene of this finale, we've
Yeah,
got Jamie opening his eyes.
yeah.
Tell me about when you decided that you were going to end there.
In season 6, we thought season 7 was going to be our last season. So I thought about kind of the ghost and getting to this point. Um, thankfully we got season 8, so I didn't have to get there as fast. But this was in my head for, this probably going on 5 years now. I mean, when we first knew that this was before season 7, we even broke season 7, because we were starting to think about it. And of course you have to think about where you're going to end a season. So way back then, I started thinking about, the ghost and how, because not only, I mean, I think all the fans wanted to know if that was Jamie. And even Sam wanted to know if it was Jamie. So when, beginning of this season, I said, to Sam, we're going to close that loop. And he's like, oh, great. I think the fans would really appreciate that. And also, in a weird way, the television fans, whether you've read the book or not, the television fans kind of were owed that, loop. I've always loved when a television series, finds something that they did really early on in the pilot or second, and then they come back to it. It's always something really cool. So I also wanted to do that too.
Did you bring Tobias back to completely reshoot that scene?
No, so we used everything on Jamie's back is from the pilot, and Tobias coming forward, and then everything. I wish we could have, gotten if we had Tobias, I would have done different things in season 8. We would have maybe seen some flashes of him. Uh, but then every coverage on his face is new.
What would those flashes have been if you'd been able to get Tobias back?
I don't, I mean, I had a million thoughts, but once he said, once we checked with his schedule, they just kind of flew away. So
Okay.
that would have been before the season was even written.
So, when we talked at the beginning of this season, you said we will see that they were always fated to be. And we see Jamie walking by the stone and those flowers just pop up from
Yeah.
the ground.
Yeah.
Um, Beautiful moment. Um, what inspired that?
Dragna Dune is clearly, a fairy hill. It's magical. It has magic powers. And we know Jamie can't time travel, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't, have this ghost and have the ability to, have these, whatever I can't label it, but I always saw this, and I think if you talk to Meryl Davis, that this love story is kind of always happening in time and space. And that was one way of kind of showing it. And I think that, and you can, I hope you, Kate, and any one of the millions of people that watch the show will interpret it their own personal way. And I don't exactly say this was this and that was that, because it isn't. This can be read a million different ways, and I hope it is, because it's what it means to you. And that's the most important thing to me to this finale is you watch it a couple times. Don't watch it once and then come up, and go, this is what, watch it a few times, and dig into how you feel about Outlander, because I'll say that this is the one series that really, when you talk to fans, when you talk to people who watch it, it has a power over them, I think, a little different than some other shows. Other shows are very entertaining and well written and well acted and all the things that they should be, and they are. But somehow this love story means something to people in a different, in a kind of a deeper way, and I hope they take that out of the finale.
What did you write in the script for that lovemaking scene between Claire and Jamie? It was different from any of the other ones, and it was kind of this, like, somehow that scene was a review of their entire relationship. The acting was incredible. So what did you write in the script for how that should go?
Oh my God, I don't even I mean, the script was written probably, oh my God, like 2.5 years ago or something,
Mhm.
3 years ago. So I don't remember verbatim, but I knew that I wanted the majority of that episode to be Jamie and Claire. I mean, obviously there's other people in it, but the big set chunk pieces of scenes are always either Jamie and Claire or the both of them together. But I think, we have an amazing, talented cast, and when they see something on the page, and Sam and Caitríona said the other day, they just brought everything to that episode because it was the end. There was no more. So everything was kind of leveled up in a weird way. You know what I mean? You just, I don't know if you want to, attribute it to like sports where, you have the regular season and then you have the playoffs, or the World Series or the Super Bowl. And because that's the end.
Um, the end, but they're both alive at the end of this. Is there a chance for an Outlander movie? And what would that be about?
I don't know. I mean, the thing about Outlander is it's kind of this wonderful place where, I mean, certainly we have so many stories that weren't told that we can kind of dive back into if we wanted to. There's a 10th book that we know nothing about. I mean, we know a little bit about it, but not enough to, write a story about yet. We have the two people that are essential to the show. They're off, doing their spreading their wings and, figuring out, what career, different career paths they have. I mean, they have a lot of choices, and they've been in these characters a long time, and I think, they owe it to themselves to go and check out what else is out there. But we've seen this happen, multiple times on multiple shows where, they come back. You've seen it on The Sopranos, you see it on Deadwood, you see it on Downton Abbey. It's a thing. So I'm going to say never say never.
Well, I mean, we saw that Fanny could time travel, but I mean, it seems like there could be a story with the kids.
Seems like it. It seems like there's a lot of different avenues, tributaries we could go down. There's a lovely other book series with an amazing character, John Gray, who's we have the David Barry, who's an amazing actor.
People want that, Matt. People want the David Barry spinoff so bad, and he'll do it.
Hey, look, we're trying. We're trying. Don't think we're not.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
Also, I will say that you tore us up emotionally in this finale. You broke us because we thought Jamie survived and
yeah.
then he didn't. How could you do that to us, Matt?
Well, I think that you guys know me well enough to know that when you get we're going to bring the pain is what we're going to do. You want to be emotionally wrecked, you guys do, and that's why you come to the show. You want to feel, and
Are you
and
saying we're masochists? Are you
I
saying
know. No, I just say you want to feel. I didn't say not bad. You just want to feel, and you need lows to get the highs. You can't just have highs. There's you have to have highs to have lows. So you have to have it all. So that moment is meant to take you to rock bottom. And when Claire and Jamie are all alone at night on that hill, you're supposed to be wrecked. When Roger walks up and says, we need to take him home, and she says, he is home. You're supposed to be wrecked. And then you're supposed to go and live their life with them. And you get to interpret what happens next. And you get to feel anything you want. You can take yourself high, you can take yourself low. You can be somewhere, but it's you get to do it.
well, we certainly felt bad for Roger too.
Yeah.
The situation he was in. So I loved that you didn't take us down the hill, though. I love that we stayed with them
Yeah.
on top of the
Yeah.
mountain. The other thing is we talked about Tobias, that scene, kind of a callback. I also, rewatching the series premiere last night,
Yeah.
that whole scene of Claire running through the woods when she first travels through time, it was
Yeah.
almost mirrored in her running up that hill to the battle. And then, so can you talk about that? Any other things you wanted to kind of mirror from the beginning?
Well, we the most important thing about that moment is the connection that she stops. You know, I don't, she didn't, I, and, forgive me, I haven't seen the finale in over a year, but we just wanted that to be a feeling. I didn't want her to hear a gunshot. I just wanted her to feel the gunshot and in her heart. And that's what she kind of does this. And I don't remember, to tell you the truth, if we were trying to mirror that running through the forest and running up the hill, but uh, I don't think we ever toned it that way. Like, hey, mirror this and mirror that. But if it worked out that way, great.
So, I have a last question note, but is there anything, Matt, that you want to say, that just an open question that you want to talk about as far as your process for the finale or anything like that?
Um, I do know how much the show means to so many people who've fallen in love with it, and we wanted to just tell a good story. I think it fits the season, and I think it also fits the overall arc of the show, the television show. We wanted to honor um, everybody who put into it, and that includes the fans. All the people who worked on it and all the people who have watched it. We wanted to give it a good. To me, it's not ending. I say that all the time. It's this thing's not over, in the sense of, because good stories don't end; they just get retold.